So how do we get to body bliss? Well, I've thought a lot about how we get to the point where we feel so unhappy that we'll do anything to fix our poor, flawed bodies, and so far away from being in bliss with the body that we have. We certainly weren't born hating our bodies. Think of any little baby you know, and how they delight in their fingers and their toes, in discovering their lips and their noses and their eyes and their knees and their bellies and their bottoms, and how as babies we squeal with delight when we learn to walk. And the only thing better than being alive in the body we're in is putting food into that body, or splashing in the bath in that body, and having that body hugged by someone we love. On every level, being in a body is just bliss when we're a baby. And then as you start to realize that you're not your mother and you're not your father, but you're you also start to notice that when you're enjoying an ice cream, your mother says if she has one she'll get fat. Or you notice that she and her friends, who are also ladies that you love, are comparing the size of their breasts or their butts or their thighs and saying mean things about themselves. Or maybe they comment about other people passing by who shouldn't be wearing that because she's too fat. Or other nasty things like, oh, look at her cankles. Oh, her breasts are so flat. Or, my God, look at the size of her butt, will you? And so, because you now know that you are other, you notice your own butt, your own thighs, your own nose. Perhaps people are saying things like, oh, you look just like your mother. And that worries you because you know your mother doesn't like her own body. So you start to wonder about the body you have. You look at other bodies and you start to compare your own body. And a few more comparing years pass, and by now you start to doubt that your body is a place of bliss, because clearly it is not perfect. It's something you should worry about. You notice that on television and in the movies, the people you like also talk about needing to lose weight, to get their teeth fixed, to have a nose job, to get into shape. And one day your father says to you, don't eat that, you'll get fat. And you're shocked. So you pay closer attention to the things the women around you are doing. They do a lot of exercise or talk about doing it. They work out how many calories or carbs are in their food, and they carefully count them, making sure they don't go over some limit that's defined by their latest diet book or magazine or weight loss group. And when they meet for coffee or for dinner, they debate about whether they've been too bad to have the muffin or the full cream milk, and then they lament about their latest diet disaster. And you learn that's what women do. Women have to pay attention to controlling their bodies. That's how they measure their worthiness, their attractiveness, and their success. That's how they relate to one another. You're in that controlling parent ego state, where everything must be managed and ordered and controlled. But your body's also growing. It's demanding that you eat, and it needs bigger clothes all the time. And maybe by the time you were 12 years old, you had already been on your first diet, and now you worry all the time about how much you weigh, if your breasts are growing fast enough or too fast, and if you fill your bathing suit in the right way, or do you bulge out in all the wrong places. And when you're with your friends, you compare your thighs to theirs, and they compare theirs to yours, and you bond in this body-snarking, awful language of women. And the older you get, the harder it is to maintain that control. You feed your body healthy, low-calorie foods when you're feeling good and in control, and when you feel like you're out of control, you eat any kind of unhealthy junk. But you might even feel like you're completely in control, and that 3 hours of exercise a day that you fuel with a cup of coffee, 8 glasses of water, and a no-skin chicken salad with low-fat dressing is normal. But your body is starving, and all you can think about is food. You beat yourself up for being so weak-willed, and the next day you get up again and you hate what you see in the mirror. So you spend the next 15 years on a diet, off a diet, on a diet, off a diet, in a desperate attempt to control your body. No one told you that your bones and your organs will not stop growing until you're about 22 years old. And so you have no idea what your normal size, weight, or shape is. You want to succeed in life, and you know you must have the right body to do that. And your friends are doing it too. Many of them are even purging their food to control their bodies. Sometimes you might try that too. Or maybe nothing you do seems to make any difference, so you'll have an extra slice of pizza and half a tub of ice cream after dinner. Or that exercise you've tried because they told you you'd lose weight if you did it hasn't worked either, so you sit with your ice cream and watch television, hating that body and feeling like there's not a thing you can do to change it anyway. One day maybe you're 25 or 35 or 40 or 45 or 60 even. You finally just stop abusing, hating, trying to control your body. You start to feel that there's more to you as a woman than the size and shape of the body you're in. You try to understand how this can be. So you read some books, talk to some people, and you notice there are other women who are also questioning what they've spent their energy, their money, and their time doing. And you like what you see. This is where your ego state is changing to being a conscious adult, stepping away from your early programming that you didn't choose, and into making conscious choices about your body and your well-being. For the first time you can remember you're okay with the body you have. It is what it is, and you can acknowledge that maybe it's not perfect, but it's okay anyway. And then comes the day when you really start to feel that the body you have has been able to do many amazing things for you. Maybe it's brought a child into your life. Maybe you've thrilled water skiing. Maybe you've lost yourself in joy at the top of the Eiffel Tower. Or maybe you've held the hand of a loved one as they passed from this life. And on that day, when you really start to feel your body, you feel real appreciation for your body for the first time. And it's a very short step to taking a new look at that body and starting to nurture it, feeding it truly health-giving foods, nourishing its skin with gorgeous non-toxic creams and lotions because it feels good, not because it'll give you younger-looking skin. Or maybe you're hearing that your body wants water instead of a donut, and maybe it wants ice cream instead of a curry. You move your body every day, walking, dancing, yoga, whatever you like, because it feels good. For the first time, you're starting to feel like you live inside your body and not alongside it. And then, one day, you happen to catch a glimpse of your reflection, and you smile gently at yourself, because now you see that self with eyes of love. And you realize that being in a body is just bliss.